Alright, let's see. Alright, audio sounds decent. Cool. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Alright, let's do this. So, we can finally add in some of the other pages to this chapter. And like I was saying in some of the previous videos, I kind of do like a fast pass at everything first. And it's probably because I'm not forced to do any crazy upload schedule right now. So basically what I can do is just kind of focus on getting all my stuff in here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and import the other pencil pages in here now. Should be this one. 6. Go ahead and open this up. Move my actions. I'm going to make them smaller. Put them up here so they're out of the way and out of view. You guys can see a little bit better. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right on top of everything. Could have literally just overlapped it like that. And I think that goes where I need it to be. I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's see. Yep, that goes around there. Looks a little weird to me, actually. Okay, so that should go basically around that mark. Cool. And this needs to come down, obviously, since we have to have the boulder joint and frame. Okay, so I think I made it a little bit too big then. So it's about here then, that it should be. Looks about right. Okay, now I can go ahead and take off these other ones, so go ahead and should be able to just get rid of the stuff underneath of everything here. Cool. So I have that page there. I'm going to go ahead and import the other page now. You can actually rasterize this also. Alright, let's go ahead and import the other page. So the good thing is it scales pretty closely to what I drew, so I don't have to do much manipulation to like change it and get it exactly where I need it to be. It's about there. Cool, and that's right actually to our cutoff point and everything, so it's great. Alright, like the way that looks. Now I can go ahead and implement some things that will make the line work a little bit better. So we're gonna go ahead and start cleaning up this page. It is to the cutoff point, right? Yeah, looks like it. Now to stay focused, I'm gonna just go ahead and make this like a blue layer. Why blue? Just because that's my favorite color. And I'm gonna try and make this line work a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and change the brightness to opacity. So now we should just have those lines. Now I get to clean up the artwork here. Oh, right, I forgot to set the color. Nice. Hope everyone's been having a good day. I've actually been able to relax a bit today. Did like something a little bit different for schooling, and also got to hang with my friends and do like a little draw pile style thing with Magma Studio. So that was pretty cool. I think that the software is good on Magma Studio, but honestly, mine feels a little laggy when I use it on like the iPad. And I can't even get it to work pressure sensitivity wise when it comes to using it on the computer. And I have no idea why. I've looked at a bunch of little tutorials on it. Guess I haven't ran into the right one yet. Oh, thanks, Kai. Man, how's it going, Alexander? Just cleaning up this page to get it ready to kind of put the values and things of that nature on it. Let me make sure I'm not losing anything. Always check back to make sure it's like, was that dot intentional? Oh, this is chapter 10, the beginning of technically volume 2. Though I don't have any books out. I do plan to eventually gather all my things together and collect them into a book. But haven't done that yet. Yeah, I'm actually very happy to have been able to like make it this far in general. Let's check this foot real quick. Yeah, it's pretty much clean, but could be better. Oh, no, I'm not streaming on Twitch. I used to. Yeah, I used to stream on Twitch. I just felt like I feel like YouTube might be a better place for my streams. I don't feel like I'm as like entertaining as other people are, and I'm usually just trying to do things more on an educational side of things, trying to teach what I know. So, uh, yeah. So far, also, I feel like I've grown a little bit more, uh, a lot easier on YouTube than it was on Twitch. Yeah. Twitch is pretty cool though. I don't know exactly how they're doing with the art community. Um, like Twitch itself, not like the people in it, but like behind the scenes people. Seems like they're phasing out some things from what I've been listening, like what I've been hearing. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go in like the next 6 months, but I'm gonna be paying attention to it. Mm. So I gotta be really careful here because I know there's some smaller lines because I'm doing a certain type of effect. Yeah. Go ahead and clean all these here. Got it. Got it. I wonder what it'll be like just getting to like 1,000 pages. What does it feel like? I wonder. Does it feel like the same, or is it like do you feel like it's what is it called? Like subconscious, like you don't really necessarily feel it. It's just something you get very used to. I think I'm somewhere near 400 plus pages, like in total of like all the pages I've ever done. Okay, so those marks are intentional right there, so I don't need to touch that anymore. Cool. The one thing when you get to 1,000 pages, I hope you feel 10,000. Right. I hope so. That would be awesome. Thing I'm always consistently doing is like trying to like learn stuff, but like only implement it if I really think it'll be helpful or if I think it'll be, like worthwhile doing. And the other thing I'm doing, other than like trying to make quality stuff, is just like, okay, can this thing make my process funner? Because the more morale you have working on something, the more you can like, I guess, fall in love with it over and over again and like produce even better work. Like same thing with like getting criticism. It's like, you can take that criticism and be like, oh, word, like I need to improve on that. Okay, cool, I'm gonna do it. It might take me some time, but I'm doing a chapter and another chapter, and hopefully within the next book you'll see those changes. Sometimes it takes time to train and get all that stuff in there. Hmm. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of decent like people look at my artwork and like tell me in many different ways what I need to improve on. So I know how to like usually read between the lines and like gauge what they're talking about. And some things you only really get to learn in time because you're always working one step at a time. Like you're working on one thing, and if someone gives you too many things to work on at a time, you might jump all over the place. So it's important to just, stay training on what you need slowly, and like it might take 3, 5 years, honestly. Like it might take that. Because realistically, all of us a lot of us all can't just sit down every day and just work on what we want to work on every single day for the exact amount of time that we want to spend on it. So you got to be in it for the long haul. If you enjoy doing it anyway. It's going to also make this joint blue. Just got our main lines right there. This is page 7. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to it. I'm going to go ahead and take this brightness and almost mix myself up. change the brightness to opacity. Cool. That's there now. So now we can go ahead and do the other technique. Turn that blue. We can make that really big so we can see all those things we're going to get rid of. I'm about to rename this this remove dust tool into the dustpan. 5 years. I think that's when we met. LOL. Glad you're still up. Yeah, it's been a while. I think yeah, I think it was when I was trying to do vending outside or something like that, like not in a convention or something. I think that's when I met you. And yeah, it's been a while. I think it was around 2016-ish when I started to really try and push my art in a more professional light. Kind of get out there and do more work and see if I could sell my art to people. But yeah, I've been trying consistently for that long. Love me some comics though. Somewhere in Baltimore. Not you, Sharpie to make a sign. Oh yeah. Yeah. It had to be, was it like a college campus or something? It might have been. Because I remember I was at a college campus and it was very windy or something like that. And I didn't have a sign. It was either there or it was at there was a, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it was the other place then. It was the other place. I forget the name of that place right now. But yeah, they usually would have people come through and play music and stuff. People would dance. And they would also raise funds for certain things and whatnot. And I was stationed at a table and I was trying to like sell some prints and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's where it was. I forget the name of the place though. I've never like dined there before, so it wasn't never a familiar place for me. But you know, I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll try to sell here, see what I can do. I was happy to sell anything, honestly. It was dope. Um, Surprisingly, that's one of the places where I did really well. I just ran into, I guess, the right people. Let me make sure. There's no debris there, right? Nope. Alright. And what is this little speck here? You know what? I'll keep that. I don't think anyone's going to care. Little speck above the boulder. Yeah. I actually sold an original piece there. That was the craziest thing, because I was like, sir, are you sure you don't want to print? He's just like, no. I want the real thing. I want the original. And I was like, sir, that's not going to be you know, as cheap as the print. You sure? And he was like, name your price. And then he tried to get me a beer or something. I was like, I don't drink, sir. It's like, I don't drink. And then I told him the price, and then he actually went to his car and came back and actually paid me what it was worth. And I was very surprised. I was like, wait, you're gonna actually pay me this money? So that gave me some extra confidence to be able to try and sell my art and stuff like that. And yeah, I've done okay since then. But I've never sold an original for that amount again, though. That's just fine though. Just gotta get my stuff out there and, you know, in front of the right people. Oh, thanks. It's very nice, man. Oh yeah, I do commissions. Yes, I do. Okay, I think this is almost as clean as it needs to be. Yes. Done some cyberpunk. I don't think I've done cyberpunk before, like for a commission, but I'm a fan of Akira, Ghost in the Shell, what's the name of this thing? Battle Angel Alita. So I do very much enjoy that aesthetic. Alright, I think that's about as clean as I need it to be. That is worse. Major. Word. Never forget how big Tetsuo's forehead is. His forehead is huge. Always wondered if it was the powers that made his head bigger. It's like I actually own like multiple copies of Akira. I don't have like the loose issues, but I have like the collection box joint. And me and my friends always look at Tetsuo's head like, man, I always wonder if it's like, did it happen like when he got his powers, or was his head always that big? And of course, they got the flashback scenes when he's like a child, and it's like, yo, nah, kids just have really big heads. So I don't know if he like that car crash when he crashed into the kid or whatever. Is that like what happened to his forehead, or like was his forehead always big? 'Cause jeez. Yes, the crazy part is the kids weren't even kids. They were freaking grown ass men and women. They're just old, wrinkled, and blue. Kara is great. Me and my friends just rewatched the movie yesterday. It was very fun. So now I'm gonna go and steal these values from this page. Oh yeah, if you do like want a commission, let me see here. I'll give you my email address for that. And we can talk about it there whenever you like. You can have that. It's my main email address for commissions and other things and stuff. See here, these are the values. You want to copy these, paste these right over. Good. Now we have our values here on the side. Now the good part is that if I've cleaned this well enough, I can do a bunch of this with the bucket tool. So, eyedropper, wait, why are you not working? Is this not the eyedropper? Am I tripping? Did I change the button? Wait a minute, wasn't it something I changed? Let's try something. So we're going to go ahead and click on the ink brush, which is here. Okay, and that does exactly what I wanted to do. And if I'm using this, let me guess, this does... Oh, it's not doing anything. I'll have to figure that out later, it's not that important. Alright. Alright, cool, that works. Go ahead to multiply, grayscale, cool. Now I usually would take this line work and make it darker, but for right now I'm going to leave it the way it is, because I'm just going to go through eventually, probably after I'm done putting everything on, and just put everything in a folder. I'm going to take everything off, and then I'm going to save it all as a PDF, so I can kind of make a file specifically for like people who would be interested in that type of thing. If you'd like to see like this comic book with just the line work without anything added extra to it other than a little bit of cleanup, um, everyone will have access to that type of thing. I always like when Marvel and DC will release stuff like that time after time, but they usually only do it with like their main top tier artists and stuff like that. And I'm gonna release something like that too. Yeah, exactly. And when I was younger, I would have loved to have access to that type of thing. Um, and I don't think I had access to that type of thing. Would have been dope. Because the thing is, right, when you look at comic books, most of the time you're used to seeing them in color. But if you realize that, like, imagine you wanted to work in the American comic book industry, you know, they have different jobs for everything. Well, nowadays some people do everything themselves, but back in the day, consistently, you had your pencilers and your inkers and your colorists. But if you didn't know what a professional penciler stuff looked like, how would you know what level to push your art to? You'd have to kind of like open the book and try to imagine what the pencil art looked like before the inker inked it. Not only that, you'd have to imagine that also with like what it would look like if the colors weren't on it. Sometimes, definitely back in the day before they got really used to using all the tools a certain way, sometimes the colors would be too dark or the colors would be too distracting in certain areas. So your mind, you know, you wouldn't be able to really understand what was going on. So you would have to do a lot just to get it to a certain level. Now, luckily, you could eventually go to a convention, but who knows if you would even have the mental fortitude to even like check the booths like for the original artwork or talk to the artist, because you know a lot of people were cosplaying and it was a really big deal. And shoot, nowadays everything's about the movies and going to see the movie stars who come to the conventions. So yeah, it takes it takes it takes a lot to like even stay focused on that. So I'm glad that I honestly just want to offer it, and I'm thinking of doing like a decent deal for it. I'm gonna make it technically cheap, but it might not seem cheap at first. I'm gonna literally just upload it per chapter, and it's gonna have the same price all the way until the volume is finished. And then for the next volume, I'll offer the same price for that volume's content too. And my volumes at this point are around like 200 plus pages, so you know, you'll also hopefully be able to see me grow in that time, like be able to see what my older pages look like, and then compare them to my newer ones. We'll see when I implement a new technique, and see how it works, kind of like a behind the scenes thing, but it'll be in a high quality PDF. I think that would be just cool. Alright, so I see that my, I was about to call this thing an Infinity Gauntlet, but it's like a little inside joke. This little thumb pad, this little yeah, it's a thumb pad joint. It's a little why can I not remember what it's called? It's a little Tartarus joint that has all these buttons on it, and it reminds me of an Infinity Gauntlet, but it's not working well. So I'm thinking it needs a new update or something. So I'll probably do that later. It's not a big deal. It's relatively new, so I'm not that accustomed to consistently using it. Well, Volume 1 isn't necessarily out yet. I'm still kind of technically holding on to the last pages of the first volume, but I've been mainly putting stuff up online. I'm going to be posting things on webtoon soon, and also I'm going to be probably offering all that content first on my I'm about to say Pinterest again. I said Pinterest yesterday. On my Patreon. It's like, why? Why do I keep saying Pinterest? It's obviously Patreon. So yeah, I'm gonna be offering that stuff over on my Patreon, and that's where I'll like hit first. Um, but I'm still gonna end up putting like all of it out eventually for free anyway. But like Patreon is gonna be like, you know, if you want to support me and what I'm working on type thing, go ahead and throw something up there for me. I'm also thinking of putting up some tutorials and stuff like that. Like any artists that are up and coming and trying to learn anything, I can like put something up on that type of level. And these streams will also have a lot of information in them. So I'm going to keep trying to stream, just putting these out. I'll make dedicated videos also, but mainly just keeping the streams free because I feel like this is some of my best content that I can offer. I definitely want to help people who like are getting used to comics and want to learn anything. I also have a hybrid process, so I'm not against anything digital or traditional. I also have inked most of my pages. I'm just now starting to get more into penciling my stuff again, like completely, instead of just inking it after I pencil it. So like it means that my artwork has to be even cleaner. So I have my own process for that now. And I don't mind helping people. I actually will love to teach. So right now this is like my way of doing that. And also showing off my process on a consistent basis. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not giving I'm not giving away too much on the story. You see the pictures. I'm not gonna put the dialogue on the screen. Like when I get done completely with the visuals of this, you know, that's the, you know, I'm going to take this off of the camera essentially and work on all the story stuff. So, like, there's a bunch of stuff being talked about, you know, and being gone over or whatever, you know, in the plot here. But right now I'm just showing the visuals. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to give the story away completely either. Um, but I think, but I think this could, like I said, be a really dope resource. So I just want to provide the stream that way. But yeah, I'm gonna be offering more stuff on the Patreon. I think my Patreon link should be in the description of the video. I think it should be. I have a small amount of tutorials on there. Kind of have a backlog of ideas I want to do, but eventually I'm going to start offering all the chapters and stuff like that on there as like PDF downloads. The thing that's like, think about like the upload sites that we like, a lot of us webtoon artists and independent artists use these days, is they're kind of like they don't allow you to go really high quality with your work. Kind of like go, okay, this is all you can upload at. Some people from like the older generation of doing independent comics usually have their own websites, so they're not capped when it comes to quality of their images. So that's cool. But a lot of them say it's not worth it to have your own website because you just don't make enough revenue or gain enough traffic, or sometimes you might gain too much traffic and you might not be able to afford, you know, the bandwidth and stuff like that. So thinking about a lot of different things, but that's why I want to offer high quality PDFs anyway. Yeah, I wonder if that's a new, like if that's the new wave. Some person I follow, she she's had her website for a long time, and her fan base has been getting content for a good while, and she does a great job. Her name is Shillin, and she has her comic she's been doing for years. She's very good. So comics I like her from like 2002. Oh wow, 2002. I think I would say that's around the time she was working on her comic. It's been a while. Never heard of her. Give me the deets. Oh, well, I'm not as familiar with her story, honestly, but I've always enjoyed her art, like from afar, like from the outside looking in. She's very good at what she does. I've checked out some pages here and there of the beginning of her story, because, you know, I don't want to spoil myself, you know, with like starting at the end, so I always check it out from the beginning, and her panel flow and everything has gotten better and better. Um, yeah, like her art's gotten better and better, and her fan base seems to be pretty cool. Like they all show up to her streams. She streams mainly on Twitch, and I think that's around every day-ish that she streams. She she is doing great, I would say. Alright, I like the way it's looking. Oh yeah, and another thing. I really wish that we had access to a double page spread format webtoon uh, like site. I think that it sucks a little bit that all the webtoon style sites, the format that they give you is consistently a one where people would, you know, scroll down. And I understand it because a lot of people are holding their phones in their hand, and you know, that's the way that most people are reading comics online at this point. I assume they're using their phones. But to not even have the option to have your stuff open up in a double page spread kind of sucks for books or artwork that is meant to eventually become a book. Um, the comic, what is it called? One Punch Man? And I get it, it's a Japanese comic, it's a Japanese webcomic. Uh, and even though it is and all that good stuff, the websites that they have access to, they have multiple different ways in which you can orient your work. And I'm like, come on, why can't we have that as well? Uh, we also make comic books over here with like superheroes and things of that nature, and that's just one of the genres. Why wouldn't we also accommodate those creators? But I guess no one wanted to do that work. Oh, well, not only that, right? If you if you have your work in a, you know, open spread, right? Now you get access to the page turn, right? Because you get to the end of this page, right? And something happens, and you go, "Ooh, wonder what's going to happen next." And then you have to turn the page, right? You don't get to turn the page if it's all in a scrolling downward format. You just get to scroll down. So it kind of ruins it because sometimes when you scroll down, you could get spoiled right from just scrolling. Like you'll see something you're not supposed to see yet. Like the image won't even be in clear view. You might read dialogue that spoils what's happening before you even see the image because everything's in like this vertical panel. You know, everything's like in this very vertical uh, point of view, and you're like, oh, I saw the wrong thing. And I'm just like, oh man, like that kind of ruins some of the experience of some comics, right? If they're meant to be read a certain way, you know. It also means that for some people who don't want to miss the wave of the popularity of these types of comics, that they're now cutting up their panels just to, you know, just to make it work on the webtoon style format. And that also feels very awkward. I mean, if you have a large fan base and that's what they want or whatever, like, or that's what you get access to, like you don't lose anything, you gain. I can understand doing that amount of work, but I also know that it would just be nice to be accommodating of different style comics. Okay, so now I'm going to put the shadow underneath of these objects here as well. We got the skin tone down, we got this hair here. Okay, that's going to get cut off, so I don't need to worry about that. Okay. Oh yeah, I can do that thing now. Yeah, it is unfortunate. I hope in like a year or something like that they finally do something about that. Webtoons is only going to get more popular though. That's not the problem though. it's not a big deal that it's, you know, gonna stay popular. It's just like why is it hard to implement that at all? I guess you would have to say, oh no. Like my whole thing is like you don't have to like force people to use it. You could just be like what is it should be like a little thing that goes like the author intends for his work to be read a certain way, and should be an option like, would you like to read it in that format? Like, would you like to read it in double page spread opened up, or would you like to just scroll downward because you're on your phone and not on your tablet, or you're on your phone and you're on the move so you don't have time to turn your phone sideways or something like that? Which again, I'll be like, it's pretty understandable to me. If you're stationary, you're at home, you don't want to go get your tablet, you should be able to be like, yeah, I would love to read it how it was intended to. Let me, you know, let me turn my phone sideways, or let me get my tablet, or check it out on my computer. I think that would be great. See, now that you said that, it sounds like something I could do too. Now I sound bad. I could have done the same. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy this panel here, and this is my plan from the start. That's why I did it this way. It's like, okay, I'll go ahead and take this joint. Actually, I did that wrong. Cancel. Go ahead and hold shift. Now hopefully shift works even on this thing. If it doesn't, oh, gonna have to try this right here. Hold shift and pull this down, and that will all stay in place. All I gotta do is match up where he is. So okay, so the rock is actually bigger there. Should actually have it more like this, right? Should be around the same space. Cool. Now I just gotta erase the characters. Oh wow. Never thought to get a, you know, stock has been in the conversation recently a lot more than usual. It's funny. Everything went down with GameStop, and everyone's like, you know what? I'm thinking of putting stocks in such and such. It's like, what? Like, okay. I never got into stocks very much. One day I will check it out more. Change layer color. Is that what we want? Yes, that's what we want. So now I can go ahead and erase all this stuff here in the foreground of this copied panel, and then we'll just have that background overlapping. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and get rid of all of, well, mainly all of this. So we don't need these characters. We already got characters there. A little bit of overlap. Alright, we also have this stuff here. What are the circles and the big rocks? Oh, okay, so, hold on, gotta get rid of this one, right? So basically, let me turn off this color. So, over here, he sees like this boulder joint. You know, like in soccer, when you like play with the soccer ball, you kind of like flick it upward, kind of like roll it backwards, and then hit it in the air. He does that, and then he catches it with his knee, right? And then over here, he kind of kicks the ball or the boulder upward, and that's these little, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about these little, let's make this even bigger. This little round little thingies here after it. It's supposed to kind of represent like slow motion movement. So it's kind of slowing down the camera, kind of, because you're seeing kind of like the after image, right? And then, so he's doing that, and then he runs over there very quickly to catch the ball, or catch the boulder, right? Yeah. Yeah, just playing with comic stuff. And that quickly he lost the pen that he was using. Okay, I found it. Not actually even using a pen, it doesn't matter. Alright. So, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this back blue. Yeah. So now I'm gonna make sure I get rid of all this stuff that he's overlapping with, so that only his character is right there and not any of these lines that are behind him. The second circle in the second panel was for reference. Yeah, it's kind of like yeah, the second circle is exactly where the boulder actually is. It's literally the next movement. So if I just showed you these things right here, it's kind of already giving you a visual understanding of the fact that this ball has moved in an arc. Like it has moved. Like from, if you were to look from one to the next, you know that there's movement that's happened. So it's kind of like me cheating, if you will, visually. And then I also was like, all I need on this panel is the boulder, because the camera doesn't move. So instead of me drawing the same thing twice, I drew it one time, and now I can copy it into the second panel. Yeah, I just say that a lot about things. I mean, I could have drawn it twice, but I was like, I don't need to. The camera doesn't change. You imagine drawing something twice and messing up to the point where a person can notice that you drew it twice? Wouldn't that kind of take you out? Like, wait, you actually drew this twice. You drew the second one like worse than you drew the first one. Like, why didn't you just copy it? Like, I don't have too much. Like, I have pride, you know, with drawing certain things, but if you don't need to do it, you probably shouldn't, because then the artist becomes a part of the conversation. And it's best for the artist to kind of stay behind the scenes when it comes to storytelling to some degree. To some degree, right? So I'm decreasing this a little bit to like 80. And that way, even though it'll be subtle, characters will stick out a little bit more. 80 opacity. So cool, I have that. We got our characters in the foreground. So I'm going to put a little bit of shadow on them, honestly. To kind of represent the sunlight, like with the lighting in the area. And it also will pop them off the page a little bit more. And I gotta do Halo's eyes here. Why does that look cool to me? Where are you? Here? No. Red? No, it doesn't have a color. So now we're gonna go ahead and hop back to the pen. Which is quite small. Oh, it's because I picked the wrong pen. Let's draw some of the panels. Oh, thanks. You know what's funny? I actually usually dislike panel breaks. That's what they usually call it, panel breaks. But because I've gotten more comfortable with drawing comics, I'm okay with doing it. Only because I'm kind of using it to play with like the effects that are happening, right? So it's like this guy ran so hard and so fast that the debris from when he started to run is literally splashing out of the panel. Uh, it's almost like if the area in which you're seeing the panel is it's like imagine like a movie screen, right? It's like it's almost visceral. Someone's breaking out of, or if an effect is breaking out of the border of what you're used to the thing representing reality to be, that means that this person is kind of, you know, doing something a bit different. Right? Kind of adds to that, to the overall feeling of speed, movement, and weight to it. So now I can kind of add a little bit more with the background. So I'm going to go ahead and make a layer for the background. Multiply. And we're going to set this to probably to green. Yeah, so that'll be our background layer. Yeah. Comics are fun though. Comics are fun. So for our background, we're going to go ahead and start with, again, the same value, because we're not going to go too dark in this scene. It's basically daytime. The only time we're going to go a little bit darker is for like shadows on the ground or something like that. Go ahead and put that in here. Here. And that's his ear, and I forgot to do that. Cool. So now that everything's over here, I can kind of manipulate that space independently. So if I want to put in a sky, I can just go ahead and create a selection, and then I can actually just grab this. So I actually don't know if I like any of these right here. But basically, you can pick one of these and just do something like that. You can also lighten it a bit. You could have fun with that. That's not what I'm going to do though. It's not an effect I completely like. You could literally just... Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, it's pretty fun. You could do some really cool stuff. What I'm going to do is there's one thing. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to grab the good old airbrush tool, wherever it is, and use the soft eraser or the soft and turn it into an eraser and erase out for the clouds. So I can kind of change the overall value up above. Slightly like that. You can also dive deeper into it, make this whole thing smaller. Make this a little bit bigger. And now we have a little bit of atmosphere going on. Yeah. Yeah, how's it going, Tavon? I can also bring some of it back if I don't like it. Same way. Just kind of play around with the clouds a little bit. And I always try to remember it's probably not gonna, be seen as big as I work at it sometimes. So I always try to pull back, try to view it from a far away distance. And another thing is, if I don't like anything here, I'll redo it. Like it's not a big deal to redo anything. It's another reason why I work this way. I was trying to figure out like should I actually do a bunch of this stuff traditionally or not. I usually draw my clouds in with line, but then I realized, I don't need to, and by doing it digitally, I give myself freedom to kind of play around with some of the tools to get the effects that I want. So I'm not above doing that. And I also get to draw them digitally if I want to, Like I could just use line work and just put it in there, and it could work just fine. And I'll lighten this up a little bit. Put it around like 85. It's pretty light. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll change it. Let's make a new layer. Just because we manipulated that one a little bit too much. New layer, grayscale, multiply. So the main thing about this whole little sequence, or this panel here, is to bring your attention to the boulder in front of them. So I'm going to go ahead and use a darker value here. Go back to this tool. Don't forget to like the video. Oh no, Clip Studio is saving. Oh, okay, I'm good. So now all I have to do is make this a little bit bigger. I'm still on this layer here, that green. Just gonna lightly go over it here. And now I'm gonna put even more emphasis on the bottom area. That way that sticks out a bit. Zoom out, looks okay. Could definitely lighten it up a bit, but it's actually not too dark. Go ahead and erase this out. I can get rid of it over here. Cool. I think I will brighten it up a little bit. Just on the top area, the top part of it. Okay. Still not being happy with it completely. Okay, that's fine now. Now I can go ahead and add more. And this one, this shot over here. Cool. I think the only one that I don't have to do the same value to is basically the third panel in this horizontal lineup that I have here. So I'm just going to put a small amount on the third one, just to kind of signify that, you know, here is where the bottom of this object is, facing away from the light source. And that's basically all I really need to do. See what it looks like from afar. It works decently. I don't like this one completely. I'll lighten it up a little bit. Okay, that way it doesn't look too harsh. And now, since we have the boulder crashing down onto his leg, and he's obviously just fine, now I'm going to also use a, what is it called, a hard edge, to kind of just signify that. Which kind of gives everything a little bit of character to it. I'll probably erase out, you know, some different lines here and there with like the same brush to kind of keep things uniform. Any onomatopoeias there? Just asking because crack is a good one. Let's, let me see here. Alright, I'm gonna turn that off and see if I can find this. Going, looking for my under drawings. Nope, that's not. Right page, left page. It's weird. Where did it go? So, I think you're right. No, I was trying to show you that I believe it actually is there on the under drawing. I was like, how does he know? Yeah, there is an actual sound effect that's supposed to be there, and it's probably supposed to say that. Yeah, it's a little indication of that. It's gonna be there, but it might not actually be correct, honestly. Now that I think about it, because I think I already used it on this page, and yeah, right. I already used it on this page here, and I don't like to reuse the same sound effect for like different things, I guess. Like, okay, this one he's putting up his knee to kind of catch it here, but this one he's kind of kicking it off of his leg. So I wouldn't try to use the same exact sound effect. I would try to figure out a different one. So yeah, when I was drawing the stuff by hand, this made sense to me to actually do by hand. This one, I was like, I don't want to do this one by hand. So I'll probably do this one differently. It's a little different onomatopoeia. But yeah, sometimes what I'll do is I'll indicate where a sound effect is going to be, and then once I get to the stage of doing it by hand, I'll figure out whether or not I'm going to do it, like if I'm actually going to do it by hand, or do I want to add it in the computer. The best thing about doing it in a computer is now I can do sound effects that will overlap on the, with an overlay layer, and it doesn't have to touch my original art at all. Definitely if there's a lot going on in the thing. So I might add like, yeah, right, like maybe a small tap. But I maybe add some speed lines here, which has to overlap like the background. I have this collision thing going on here. Let's see here. I clicked the bottom part of that, and it instantly was like, "What do you want?" Like, I didn't want anything. Go away. Thank you. All right. Like, let's make a color layer. Make it red. Right. So like, So like I might have like some speed lines that's going down here. The sound effect is probably going to overlap somewhere around here so that you kind of collide with it first, since you would be reading it from right to left. So you'd see it first. You see the sound effect here first, right? Like maybe it's like that big even, right? I have sound effects going on or whatever on this side of the page, right? You run into this hit spark here, kind of like in a fighting game, on both sides of the leg. And I didn't want to like cover that too completely. So by doing it like this, it could be something like, I guess I could say it would be tap, right? Imagine that as tap, right? And I use the overlay layer, and it disappears completely. Come on, overlay. Come on. Unless I use the wrong thing. Screen? Forget how to do it at the moment. Anywho, right? That would be the effect, right? Use overlay usually. It does something like that. Maybe it's because it's colored right now or something. But usually put an overlay and you get something like that. And as you can see right through it. It's transparent. Kind of just overlays on top of it like that. So you can usually see it. Let me see here, duplicate, overlay. And what if I add a border? Border effect is white. Turn that up. Oh well. I have to remember how to do it. I'll definitely bring it back. But yeah, it's basically to be able to kind of alleviate some stress when like you're looking at it as a reader, and kind of like kind of look at it and be like, okay, like I can tell what's going on here. I don't want things to get too jarring for people to check out. So I'll probably have it where it can like overlap the artwork and things of that nature. Yeah. Right. I also don't think I need the speed lines also. I'm just saying like if I did add them, you know, it could be cumbersome. So I'm always just trying to figure out how to make things read easily. Which actually might be a bad thing if you do it too much. I don't personally think so, but if you do it too much, it could possibly end up making some of your image a little stiff, which is what I'm fighting against consistently. Actually, this is the wrong value, so let's get the right one. Go ahead and grab the skin tone, and the layer we should be on. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Go ahead and color in the eyes. Wow, I have the wrong brush. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be something similar, right? But I'm also going to play with the fact that it's a boulder. So I gotta figure out some sort of special thing. If I say tap, it's a joke. It's like a boulder tap. A boulder landed on this guy's kneecap, and it said tap. Like, how much are we about to belittle, you know, this boulder? Yeah, right. We have here. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'm just thinking like, oh no, like no, you're like actually giving me some good stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm thinking about it too a little bit, but I'm like, I'll come back to it because like I'm trying to not make fun of the boulder here. I wanna like, because it's almost like by making sure you state without saying that it's really a boulder, you make the character more, almost more tangible, I guess. If that makes any sense. It's like okay, like it's a boulder, but this person just happens to be strong enough to uh, actually push it around a certain amount. He just happens to be stronger. But if he's that much stronger than the boulder, with a boulder sit tapped to his kneecap, oh man, like he's not that strong yet, you know. He's done some good conditioning, but he's not that strong yet. Yeah, see? Yeah, exactly. I would use that, right? Tack, right? It's a lot better. Like that's yeah. Sounds a bit stronger. Yeah. Ah, so I did okay. So here's this trick here. So what I'm gonna do, since I have actually, wouldn't it be it makes more sense to do that. Okay, so where's this layer at again? Right here. Okay, this is the tone layer. I actually should give it something. Make it yellow using these colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the upwards one with like an airbrush tool. Only because it's in motion and it probably wouldn't be as dark as the other value. Since also the other lines are broken, its value would also be softer. So that's what I was thinking about there. So that's going to be fine. I think I need to add anything to the upper part here since that's both in darkness already. Here it isn't, so I'm going to go ahead and add in the secondary value to that. It's weird this button isn't doing anything, but I can see that it's doing something. Like I can see that the top is changing. It's weird. I'm gonna leave it alone for now. Let's go there. I'm drinking this beer. That's fine. So awesome that you're here hanging out. So we're gonna go ahead and add in this top area here. Wait a minute. Oh. I was like, wait a minute, doesn't that go against, like, no. Previous me had me covered. It's like, oh, okay. Did add that there for a reason. Okay. It's gonna be fun actually going back through these and kind of fixing everything that I'm not totally confident with yet. I think that's gonna make these things a little bit better. Going into this next arc of the Divinity, I'm gonna be really trying my best to just make a good arc. Not that I don't usually, but it's been on my mind that like some of my favorite shows and stories that I check out, you know, you always remember that those little things that happen between like your favorite arcs. When you get to your favorite arc, you always remember those moments that your character or your favorite character gets to have and stuff like that. And just like, man, I really just want to write something like that. I'm not going to jump the gun or anything like that and like do too much at once. what I'm gonna do is just set things off a certain way, like, and just like start, right? Because no story out the gate was crazy good most of the time in my memory. Takes a while to get a build up for you to finally really, like, I would say most shows start off good, right? You get a good start, you get a couple good arcs in between that, and some things are written to a certain, like, to a certain degree, whereas they're written so well that you come back and be like, man, I remember when that happened, but we didn't realize how good that arc was until we got like 3 arcs past it, and the author started to reference or bring things from that arc into that arc, and you're like, hold on, I didn't realize that these were 2 pieces of a puzzle. So some people have that type of writing ability, and I'm going for either or. Either or doesn't matter. I think One Piece is like great, right? But I didn't think it was always great. I always thought that One Piece was good, and it had great moments here and there sprinkled in there. And some series start off a little bit stronger than that, like let's say Death Note. Say Death Note, to some people, Death Note is a great series. I think it was a really good series with a lot of great ideas in it, and a lot of people agree that the last part was a little difficult to say that it was top 2. Um, I don't think I've actually made it that far. I just heard about what happened after this character called L was around. Um, but either or, right? I think that One Piece became great when Water 7 Enies Lobby happened. That arc in particular was when I thought One Piece was great. And it's definitely biased, right? Some people like different style arcs, and I was looking for something that was going to take and elevate the story. You create a great series like Death Note, it's really easy to paint yourself into a corner. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think her name was Oba. I don't remember her other name, but Oba writes her butt off. She does a great job at writing her series and getting them, together. I assume before she even probably hands them off to, you know, uh, Obata, the guy who draws series. Um, I don't really mind that though, right? I can't say Death Note isn't great just because it had an ending that people didn't like, or like, all right, yeah, an ending does matter, right? Your ending does matter. The rivalry thing did happen, and it went well in my opinion. It just didn't complete the story. It just wasn't the end of that story necessarily. It was the beginning of the downfall of the main character, but it wasn't the end. I think people would have liked it to have been the end. Ending matters a lot. And I think that, if you read between the lines, I would say Death Note before the actual end arc was probably a high 9 to 95 out of 100. Like, it was up there, man. It was really good. But its ending, I would say it's still a high 8. I would still say it's like a 8, 8.5, 8.6. Like, it's still up there even with that ending. It just wasn't as crazy as people wanted it to be. you know. Alright, I moved it down very far, but I'm only speaking to the fact that people are pretty darn harsh when it comes to their ratings. Um, like for me, One Piece, before Water 7, Enies Lobby was, it was like, let me see here. Let me be real. Before Water 7 Enies Lobby, I think that One Piece, for me, as a reader and a watcher, because I mainly watched it, was sitting at around 79, around 79. It didn't hit greatness for me yet. But when we got to Water 7 Innie's Lobby and we finished that arc, I was like, yo, One Piece is now, it jumped up 10 points. It was like, yo, this joint is like good old 90% right now. Like, this is great. Like, this is really good. And it's not because it was lacking anything in those previous arcs, other than my favorite character and her backstory and all the other great things that happened in that arc. You have to take L down. How do you do that? Oh, I have to. Oh, my bad. You have to take light down. How do you do that? Well, unfortunately, in this era, if light existed, I would just use Discord, and it would be a wrap. You know, like unfortunately, light's going down. Light might last a week, and it's over. You remember when Shia LaBeouf put a flag somewhere, and like people came together and found out where the sun rays were coming from in the sky, and found out where he put the flag, and he actually like infiltrated the place and like grabbed the flag and got on camera. I was like, yeah, we got the flag. I'm like, wow, man, if light existed, it would be over. You probably get away with taking out like, I don't know, 10 people maybe, and then after that it'd be like, wait, we're looking for someone who might have the ability to write your name down in a book. All right, you know. It's like, all right, we got him. We got him. He would try to trap them, and they would just disappear into a Discord server from Reddit or some crap, and then you would never get in, and they would just take him out. And it would be like, wow, yeah, the greatest detective is people using the internet, regardless. It doesn't matter. You can't win. All right, so I'm going to do a really slight shade when it comes to the backgrounds. Why is this green? What is that? Hello? Okay. Oh, that makes sense. I'm on the other page now, so I wouldn't actually see that I did that. Cool. Oh, Shia. Yeah, man. None of them had a death guide. I mean, what are you about to do? Like, unfortunately, the death guide was broken and all that good stuff, but it still was bound by a certain amount of rules. Uh, that's the funny thing. Like, that's what made it interesting. It still had all these rules, and even if they amped up the abilities of the user, they still had to usually, you know, do a certain amount of stuff. So you had to write the names down on something. So you get cut. You're gonna get cut eventually. You're gonna figure it out. Just gonna go back to this previous value over here. Yeah, the only way not to get cut is to like literally hold back how many people you kill at a time. It like literally that'd be it. Like you just have to literally wait around and hopefully no case is pending on you. If there's a case pending on you and the internet gets involved, you're getting cut. If you just something magically happened, like one guy every 5 years or something like that, and it's not too strange, all right, like you might not have a case on you that anyone's gonna get involved on, but other than that, I don't know. I think people are gonna figure it out. Say pro name here. All right, so you know what? Let's use this for these shapes. I'm gonna go ahead and do mostly just the ones that are closest to us with solid shadows, and just go ahead and put some of them in. This is still relatively my favorite tool in Clip Studio because it's just drawing, and whatever you draw gets a shape that's filled in. You can also use it to erase. Kind of just flip it into eraser. What I'm also trying to do is kind of like keep the same shapes consistently. Even if I'm making these shadow shapes, I'm always like, okay, like what shapes can I kind of repeat when I'm like putting these shapes on these objects? Because if I make anything too different, it sticks out. Like if I made like a curved one, right? Instantly, that's the thing your eye's gonna go to just because it's curved. It's like, in a bunch of objects, which thing is different? It's like, this guy has a curved shadow here. And now you're not paying attention to this freaking ball, which is that's the main thing I want you to look at. If these, backgrounds don't change, hopefully your eye just goes to the thing that's moving, right? So these are further away, I'm not even going to touch them. This right here is closer. And I'm probably definitely going to lighten a bunch of this stuff up. Shadows are the worst. Wrinkles are second. Depends on how realistic you want to get, I guess. I've seen some people take their styles and kind of make it so simplistic that they don't even have to think about wrinkles because once they know how they want to do it, they never change it. Kind of like how people draw ears. Most people usually pick a ear that they get really good at, and you'll always consistently see the same ear on a character. I've seen people do that with wrinkles, and I have no problem with it because it's like, it's a thing people don't care to look at too much. They just want to know if you can draw an ear. Once they know you can draw a ear, they don't care which ear you draw. They're not out here like, we need more types of ears on these characters. No one has the same type of ear. That goes with feet and fingers and everything. Imagine if someone's doing that, run up on the guy who did Naruto and be like, bro, we see you drawing these hand signs for all these jutsus, but look, you're drawing the same hands. Your women hands look like your guy hands, and your guy hands look like your dude hands. I mean, your women hands. And the feet look the same. That all these guys get, manicures and pedicures at the same place. Like, how? Everyone you know hates shadows? Tell them to read Akira. Not watch it. Don't watch Akira. Because watching Akira, it's not fair. But just read it. Read Akira. And you'll see someone like I have this little saying where I'm always consistently telling my friends who draw as well to remember to add your ground shadow. And a part of the reason is like Akira is probably my favorite manga, and I'm always trying to add a little bit of extra dimension to my art. And one of the easiest ways to do that for me is just to remember to always add a ground shadow because it adds dimensionality. It's like, oh, they're actually standing on the surface of something. The shadow also can tell you what the surface is like. If they're standing in grass, you don't even have to draw grass. You can just draw the outline of the blades of grass sticking up from the shadow and get away with that. The same thing goes for a tilted surface or something like that, right? Boy, it's different age. Can't get them to read anything. It's not that they hate shadows. They hate creating shadows. I hate creating shadows. What if I told you you didn't even have to? What if I told you that you could draw a character standing? Let me see here. Let's do a little, see if I can do something real quick, right? Got a character right here. Actually, we're going to do the thingy that allows us to make a little box, right? Is it this? Is it you? Yes, it is. Okay. Create a little box here. And we're going to draw a little person in it, right? And, alright, let me see here. So, we have a pencil here. and we're going to draw just this, right? Boom, right? I'm gonna even give him a hat. Right? Alright, we got a character. We got a character. We're even gonna fill in the pants. Alright. Alright. So, all I have to do now is I'm going to select the inside of the area around the character. Right? And then I'm going to invert it. I'm going to invert my selection area. Now I should basically be only touching the character. I think what I can do with that is transform it. I think I can do that. I picked the wrong one though. Undo. Okay, undo that. Let's see here. What am I thinking about? So if I do that. Right, okay. So go ahead and deselect here the area that is the box. Because I don't need the box here. Of course, it's on the wrong thing. Let's restart that. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and select the inside of this area. I selected the wrong part just now. Oh my god. Alright, cool. So that's there, right? Which means that the outside of this area is now all selected, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and okay. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Free transform. I can actually go ahead and make a new layer, I think. Free transform. Come on. I'm trying to remember exactly how this works. It's there. It's this. This is that. Go ahead and invert selection. With the inverted selection, go here. Free transform. Can't do that. How do I do this? That is not it. But that would have been fun. My brain right now. Okay. Failing. So, what it's supposed to be like is basically you can take a character. I think actually what hurt me was the box, surprisingly. I was so adamant about putting that box there. So basically what you can do is just draw a character and draw a character, circle for a head, this for the body, and go ahead and fill in the space in between it. Right? And now we have that. You can just take that. You can copy the area selection, go to a different place, make a new layer. You can paste that. You can fill that in. I mean, now that that's filled in, you can grab this here. Oh, we have too many other areas that are obviously filled in. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of them. Alright. Cool. Now we go ahead Right, this should be the only thing here now. Create a selection. Should be able to free transform. And now you can just basically, you know, grab the shadow, or you can grab the thing you made and just make it like this. And it'll just stretch it, you know. You can make it darker if you want it to, right? You could do that. What I was really trying to show was that, like, if you have like an area around an object, you can select the background of that object, and even when you select the background, you can invert the selection, so it'll select everything except for the background, and everything except for the background would be the character. Then you fill in that space with like a color, and then you just go ahead and play with that shape with the transform tool. So like you don't even have to necessarily draw it. You could just draw your character, know where like where the lighting is going to come from, how hard it's going to hit your character, how far away the sun's going to be. Look at a reference real quick and just manipulate it. Sorry for that long demonstration thingy. Just really wanted to show that either way. So I was like, no, there's a lot of different ways around it. You can do really cool stuff. Oh no, did I delete my layer that I needed? Let's undo until we get back to it. That was quick. So it was already on the right layer. Cool. Put it on page route. I guess that'd be a pretty little fun tutorial to throw up there. I'll never know exactly how, like what stuff, like how like advanced or whatever I should put stuff on there. But yeah, I think that could be a good idea. Alright, so I'm going to take this. Let me make sure this is on the same layer. Cool. We want to take this, and I think what we want to do is copy and paste it onto a different layer. Technically cut and paste it. Let me cut it. I'm going to paste it to a different layer so it's not intersecting that other one. Now we can manipulate this here to make it a little bit lighter. Uh, 70 looks fine. Now I can go ahead and do it again. Copy, or cut and paste. Copy and paste. I swear I had one of these that were actually cut or copy and paste together, but that is fine. Copy, gonna paste it. Now I'm gonna scale rotate. I'm just gonna pull it down into the bottom panel because that's exactly what we need it for. Because again, nothing changes. Nothing changes here except for the characters. And just match it up as much as I can. Looks good. Cool. Now just erase away or add what I need to. Okay, so I have to adjust that a little bit. Adjust some things here and there to make sure the characters pop out the way I need them to. Just because of movement here, I'd probably make these ones that are closest to this character a little bit lighter as well. Yeah. Let's go ahead and add that shadow underneath the ball, or boulder. I have to always remind myself that it's a boulder. It's closer to the light. So I guess giving it the harder shadow here would be cool. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I give it the harder shadow here. And I give it the harder shadow here with the pen tool. Now probably again I'll adjust it a little bit. Trying to do like an oval motion. Same thing here. But the cool part is now, since we also technically have the ground in view. We also have these guys' ground shadows in view. We know that we can also put the ground shadow on the floor or on the ground plane from the actual ball in the air. And it's going to be lighter because it's a bit high. Be like smaller than that. So let's go ahead and make it a little smaller. Technically, that would probably be like this. I'm gonna lighten that up a bit. So yeah, these are just all ideas that I'm thinking about. But it's all mainly to just give your eye a little bit of something to look at, but also give your eye like the main stuff I want you to see, I want you to look at. So I'll be adjusting all of this to make sure that you mainly are looking at the boulder and its movement, and the background is just something that's literally a background, even if it does look pretty. Should be bigger. Might be a thing. But the thing is, I can't really go too big with that shadow just because of so what I'll actually do is I'll probably take the ball or the foreground elements like the characters and the boulder, and I'll just darken the outline around them so they stick out better. So you'll know that they're the things that are closest to your eye, you know, when it comes to in the frame. While everything in the background will essentially fade to the background. So it won't be as harsh or it won't stick out even if it does have those shadows. Just like you see these, yeah, just like you see these borders in front, like that kind of tell you, you know, scene is changing or something is changing from scene to scene. The the frames are really black, so they stick out really well on this, you know, this white paper. Whereas all these shadows are really soft, they're not very dark. But when I use a lot of, you know, pencil and stuff like that, those things do stick out a bit more because they stick out graphically. So I'll probably adjust that later. So I don't need too much here. I'll probably add one value here. It's a bunch of empty space here, so I'll probably end up placing it downward so you don't have to look at it so much. Shadows are too much? Aw, come on, Tavon. You know, I'm a fan of like One Punch Man, you know, like, you know, I'm not gonna go to that level because I feel like a bit of that is too much, but I also agree that it looks really nice. I think it looks very nice. But I'm not gonna go to that level because it doesn't need to be that way. Actually, I'm going to fill this in as well. I'm just going to lightly erase out of it anyway. So what I'm going to do is fill this area with a middle tone value so that the main thing that will stick out is the area of white, which will be the word bubble. It'll be obviously a spark here that's happening mainly on the knee, and it'll also be the boulder going upwards, you know. So that works that way. Fill, right? And now obviously adjust all this stuff here as well. Alright, so I can actually use this thing here now. So this allows that to be dark. Might want it to be, well, yeah, I want it to be lighter at the top, right? So that's the wrong way to do it. Where is this thing? Let's go ahead and choose that. This is foreground background. It's not dark enough, if so. This is on grayscale, right? Right. We don't want it that way. We want it to be like this, right? Actually, the other way is looking fine. I have the wrong tools. What is this? I was thinking of using this circle joint that they have on here. That brings you down to there. My only problem with that is like how much can I play with that? Okay. So what if I take this and turn it here? Get a darker value, right? What if I want to do this circle joint? See ellipse, circle, right? Now we can do something like that. It's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So that skews all that right there, brings your attention to the kneecap, and I can also see if I can adjust it a little bit more. About here. Let me see. Ah, okay. Let's go ahead and grab this. Whoa, that is the wrong thing. Big undo. Let's go ahead and grab this with this. Go ahead and copy, paste to its own layer, which means I can adjust this even more. Right? Since it is darker, I can also make sure that I can do this one thing here. So I'll go ahead and grab this eraser, soft eraser, adjust it to about the width of these lines here, right there. Then select tool, and now I can just erase downward into the knee, about here. And that's actually too big. I'm going to go back a little bit, or down a little bit. as I see. Alright, cool. Now we got some lighting and stuff like that going on. Alright, we'll adjust all this again in a bit. But yeah, I think it's turning out decently. Probably work on this a little bit before stream tomorrow. That way I can show you guys what I changed and what I wanted to add and stuff like that. But for the most part, I hope this is cool for you guys to check out. I'll probably be doing this again at 9:30. Well, 9 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for coming through, Alexander. It's been a while. And thanks again for always showing up, Tavon. It's always cool to see you here and chat with you guys, honestly. I like this shot actually. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Thank you. You guys get some rest. I'm gonna get some rest. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Peace, everyone.